Alright, it's Corey with Neurotic Knives. Gonna do a video today of the top 5 knives and my favorite knives in my collection. If you haven't, get the subscribe button, the like, all that, comment down below. So this was kind of hard to make, or decide on rather, but I think I narrowed it down pretty good. These here are just 2 honorable mentions because I just got them, so I can't call them my favorite yet. The Medford Fat Daddy, I did an unboxing on, and I didn't do an unboxing on this one. It's the Full-Tie Kopis Demko. I was just really excited to get it. It came to my office and just opened it there. Sometimes I'll do that every now and again. If you don't see knives, then you see knives. Sometimes you just don't have the patience. But so anyway, honorable mentions, just because it's hardcore and badass and a big fucking, just a big massive beast. So those are my 2 honorable mentions. The Kopis, this is the 8020S. It'd be kind of cool if they did this in the full thickness. The only thing that I don't like about it, which I knew going into it, is it doesn't have thumb studs, which isn't a big deal because you can reverse flick it and kind of thumb flick it or slow roll, however you want to do it. But I do like the recurve more than I thought I would. So those haven't carried, just got them a few days ago. So, and they're not in any particular order or anything. So first, I'm going to start out with the 8020 full thickness Demko. This one is in Magna Cut in the V2 clip point. I just love Demkos, man. I'm a huge Medford guy, and now I'm a big Demko guy as well, which is, breaking the bank, but that's how it goes. I just love the all-tie version from Demko. It's got something different about them than when you put the OG scales on. I don't know if it's because they're harder to get or whatever, but I do like this blade shape. That kind of they call it a V2 clip point, which is just a short clip point, in my opinion. So that's one of my favorites in the collection right now. I know a lot of people love these things, so put that kind of right there. Pull out the Shadow Scarab. If you watch the channel or follow the channel at all, I'm a huge Scarab fan. Got this on, they had a pre-order run at NC Blade a month or 2 ago, I believe it was. And I've wanted one of these since the Gen 3s came out, and finally came out and I grabbed it, and it's just my favorite OTF. It's got the DLC blade, DLC button, DLC clip, which wears a lot differently than just your standard Cerakote, I guess they use, like on the body and stuff. It's just, it marks up real easy. The DLC doesn't. But it's big, it's a big, massive OTF that compared to the 8020 here. So it is a large knife. It's not for the faint of heart if you're, that's why I say I can only recommend the Scarab to people that like bigger knives. I can't recommend it to anyone every day just because, it's massive and not really necessary, but it's badass nonetheless. Okay. Next is the Medford TFF 4, the newest edition. I carried this quite a bit since I got it, and it's just smooth, sharp. The looks good. It's got the G10 inlay, which I'm not a fan of inlays, but it works on this knife. So I contacted Medford and asked if they'd sell me a titanium inset, you know, kind of like, and you know, maybe they could do that as far as like accessories like Hinder and stuff like that, so you could do it yourself. And they didn't say anything on price wise. They just said that I would just have to send it to them because they would want to install it, which is fine with me. I mean, I don't know really why, but I guess for fitment issues, if the machine's not right, you know, because this was one of the first versions, I don't know. So it'd be cool if they sold them on the secondary. But I love Medford's Tonto. You know, it's just nice. This thing just flips really well. It's extremely smooth, and it's on bearings, of course. You know, everybody that's curious about all the new smaller Medfords, they're all on bearings. But it fits in the pocket really well. This one's an S35, most of them are S45, and the clip works really well, and it's just nice and compact, and yet still, you know, still a full-size knife. You know, it's not as big as the Demco, but it's, you know, an 8-inch knife, which is what I like to see. So that's up there. And plus, I just like the blue and black. You know, I dig the blue and black, because I want to do a black Predator, or if they could do like a Tremors, because I haven't seen that yet. Black Tremors, anodized inlay, I think would be cool. Going on to this one for the build, but mostly for that blade. This blade is nasty. That Aggressor, almost had the build complete. I wanted the blue gear clip. Got lost in the mail, said it delivered it to my house, and it didn't. So it's long gone. Somebody's got a useless clip in their house somewhere because they're too much of a heathen to turn it back to the post office and say, yeah, I didn't order this or whatever. But yeah, the build got the backspacer, which their anno jobs, even from their Battle Black and stuff, it's not made the same day. It's not going to come out the same, I've noticed, except for their Battle Blue, the Battle Bronze, the Anodized Blue, and the Anodized Bronze. And I don't know if I'm missing another one. Those are generally all the same, but this blade shape is just wicked. I can't wait for a non-flipper model to come out, because if a non-flipper comes out for this, that's what I'll do, is just buy one of those. But other than that, the build is done. So that's been one of my favorites. And I know they weren't in no particular order, and I haven't had this one very long, but it's the new Stitch in titanium. I've carried this thing since I got it. You know, and I've had plenty of manual stitches, several of them actually, but with the titanium, you get the weight, you get I like titanium. You know, yeah, the Scarab's not titanium, of course. You know, you're not going to get that unless you buy a Hawk, which I'm not spending that kind of money on a freaking OTF. They're way overpriced, and you can battle me in the comments on it. I won't budge, but I think they just are, and I'll never have one for a simple fact I don't like the switch being right here. I'm not spending $3,000 on a freaking OTF. It's ludicrous. But so this has been in my pocket, you know, and I've got the auto and the Outbreak. And I did notice that I do like the auto as far as ergos goes, especially in this choke up spot. And I realized why. It's because it's a tad bit thicker right here because of that huge pivot and spring. And the blade stock is thicker. So when you hold up on it, it doesn't feel as loosey-goose like this. You're more locked in without having to squeeze as much. And I'm gonna do a comparison video of it. But this might be, right now, is my favorite in my collection. The honeymoon phase is over, and it's hard for me not to grab this every day. And I know that it's just titanium scales on a stitch. I understand, you know, came in the fancy packaging and it's a select, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't have anything to do with it. And the price on these is $455. Hey, that's not bad at all. In my opinion, not bad at all. And it's no different than aluminum stitch or G10 stitch, except for the scales. But it does have that weight, and it is titanium. And I was fortunate to get the first one out of the batch of the frags. So the first batch that came out, I got the first one that I'm aware of that they told me was the first one to sell. And that was the first site to get them. But that doesn't have anything to do with why, if that was the case of me, you know, a lot of people wouldn't carry it because that means something to them. Well, I can't keep a stitch in my collection. I just can't. And like I said, this ain't going nowhere. I mean, I'll battle this down to the last 3 knives I have. It's not going nowhere. I just can't you know, you get a knife and you just can't keep it out of your pocket. You want to carry this. It's like, God damn, but I want more time. There's not enough time. I want more time. And there's so many knives to buy or trade or, you know, whatever, what have you. But yeah, by far, I know they said we were in no order, but this one, I don't know. I know that they make aftermarket scales and stuff, and I don't know if they're the same weight. I have no idea. But until you handle one with this weight, I think this is 7.4 ounces, if I believe correctly. So this is about 7.4. I think this one's like 6, a little over 6. 6. This is about 6, and this one I think might be 8. So all kind of in the same, you know, this one might be 5.8. Actually, I'm just going to do one weight on here because I don't know if I've ever weighed this one. I might have, and now I'm just curious. The TFF4, let's see what we got. 5 ounces. So this is the lightest one of the bunch. So these right now, and as far as my collection goes, they're not the most expensive ones. They're not, you know, the newest ones. They're not. These are just the ones I always grab. These are the ones I always grab. Not to mention the honorable ones. I'm digging the recurve blade. I carried a ZT0301 with the recurve. And these are actually simple to sharpen. It doesn't really take much skill to sharpen this small of a recurve, so I'm not worried about that. And of course, the other one is this 13-ounce masterpiece, overkill beast of a knife that's just fucking... And I can reverse click the motherfucker, which I think is cool because it's just so smooth. Medfords aren't what they used to be. They're a totally different breed now, and they're animals. I mean, you go from this, say it's plain Jane, no sculpting, to something like this. I mean, and they're just innovating. The black card knife looks fucking awesome. So if you haven't looked at the black card knife, I think he's still selling them, but you're going to pay another $400 or $500 aside from the people that jumped in on it. But watch his video on it, and it's revolutionary for Medford, and I can't wait to get it mine in hand. I really can't. So anyways, those are the top 5 in my collection that I absolutely love and carry the most. But if you have any comment on the video, I love the comments. Negative, positive, I love reading all that shit. But I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll get to you next time. Have a good one. Thanks.